Fitzgerald-type weather at Rich Stadium, where the Bills have been so good and undefeated this year. But better than all that going for Buffalo was the return of their head coach, Marv Levy. And Marv so loved by the team, by the community, by everyone. First quarter, though, Tommy, with the wind swirling, Atlanta tried to run, didn't they?
Yeah, inside move by Bruce Smith. Bob Whitfield allowed him to go inside. They run the shovel pass, which we very seldom see be successful, right there for 11 yards.
And Jeff George hands to Ironhead. It's a touchdown, and the Falcons running early, 7-0 lead. Thurman Thomas was iffy right up until kickoff. He played, but the youngster Derek Holmes was the man that did the bulk of the work on the ground. What a find he is late in the draft this year, as is Terrell Davis for Denver. Jim Kelly to Billy Brooks, 31 yards. They've hooked up again, and we're tied at 7. Jimbo 7 for 7. No one more experienced throwing into that wind than Jim Kelly. Delani Johnson, the youngster, coughs it up. Chris Dolman, defensive end, with the pickoff. But Alton Montgomery is flagged, and the Bills capitalize on the break. Kelly, Brooks, 15-yard touchdown. 7 TDs for the veteran Brooks in 6 games, 14-7. Then Kelly gives to Thomas. He runs into John Fina, his own left tackle. He would be shaken up with lead, but would return. Bills settle for a field goal on that drive, and then George to Terrence Mathis. And chances are it's a 32-yard gain. Ironhead scores on the next play. We're tied at 17. Bills, though, drive down the field, and Steve Christie, lightning striking again. Nature's taken over his one-track mind. Baby, yeah. I could sing the whole song. 20-17 Buffalo, but I won't. Kelly tries to hit Russell Copeland in the flat. Anthony Phillips picks it off. Watch what happens. Kelly makes a great athletic tackle. But unfortunately, this is, watch carefully here. Anthony Phillips, turn away if you don't want to see this. Phillips' leg snaps. Clean tackle, and a good play by Kelly, but boy, broken tibia, fibula. Everyone obviously concerned on hopefully Anthony Phillips have successful surgery on it, and we'll be back in action one day. 23-17, the Bills late in the fourth. George to Eric Metcalf, 27-yard gain. Falcons drive. George tries for the win, but Bird Emanuel isn't there. Kurt Schultz, he knows everything. And the Bills remain undefeated at home this year. They beat the Falcons 23-17. Look at this. The Bills 7-3 on the year, as despite some good numbers for that run and shoot. It was a big game for the youngster Derek Holmes, and afterwards, Marv Levy talked about getting back on the sidelines.
Today I had to make decisions between do we go for it on 4th down or not. At home I had to decide between potato chips and popcorn, you know.
Oh, boy, just a month after surgery, it's great to see Marv back. Holmes at 100 yards.
Getting Thurman Thomas back in that lineup. When you look at the next game between the Dolphins and the Patriots, I think certainly it's a clear picture. When Curtis Martin runs well for Bill Parcells, it takes some of the pressure off Drew Bledsoe and allows him to get more comfortable than he's been in the past. Certainly we saw some contributions as well from David Meggett in the special teams. But that said, Drew Bledsoe still does not look like the Drew Bledsoe that we saw most of last year.
Although wins will cure that a little bit.
That's
One
right,
little note
right.
that we're amazed at. Bruce Smith sacked Jeff George twice today. He's now sacked him 9.5 times in his career when he used to play for the Colts, but it's not even close to the all-time leader. Ken O'Brien, 17.5 times sacked by Bruce Smith. You got to give Kenny the nod for hanging around that long. But at any rate, a couple of sacks by Smith and the Bills win the game. When we return, I had to get that.
The Bills move back into first place in the AFC East. Thanks, Pats. Sorry, Dolphins. Sorry, Cowboys. Niners aren't.
One was buried by Barnaby.
That's all next on Sports Extra. But first, the big picture. Now 7-3, the Bills are one of the NFL's true surprises based on preseason expectations. They're doing it despite injuries. 5 rookies in today's starting lineup. The defense hits the Falcons. Jim Kelly leads the offense to a plus 400-yard day, but won't enjoy the view from first place just yet.
I mean, it's nice, but, you know, shoot, we're not even 3/4 way into the season yet. We still have a long way to go, and it's always nice to be in first place, but what counts is after a 16-game schedule, who's in first place then.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Ed Kilgore, along with Mike DeGeorge and Stu Boyer. Jeff Nixon, a little under the weather tonight, so we'll see you next week. Jeff, General Manager John Butler, joins us live in just a bit. The Bills defeated the Atlanta Falcons 23-17 this afternoon in Rich Stadium to improve to 7-3, and we'll look at how they did it in just a minute. But first, With a crowd of 62,690 at Ridge Stadium today, let's hear from you. Our telepoll question tonight, why do you think, or what degrees, 30-mile-an-hour gusting winds, making it a 1-degree wind chill in Ridge Stadium? The Bills receive the opening kickoff. They have to drive into the wind in the first and third quarters. As we told you, Marv is back and happy to be on the sidelines. Thurman also is back, and Darryl Talley is over on the other side. Thurman is running well. No effects of the hamstring as he picks up a 3rd and 1 here in the first quarter. Thomas, 17 carries, 66 yards. However, the Bills having problems with Falcons' Ironhead Hayward as he hurts the Bills early. On the Falcons' opening drive, Hayward is tough. The Falcons drive 69 yards and 11 plays on their very first possession. Hayward takes it in for the final yard. He's in. Falcons up 7-0. But the Bills then answer with an 80-yard drive. And rookie Derek Holmes stealing the show today from Thurman. 17 carries, 17 yards on this carry, 23 carries for 100 yards. That sets up the nice play action. And who is Mr. Kelly going to go to? You're right. He dials Bill Brooks, and it is 7-7. Then in the second quarter, the Bills get a little break here. Kelly is intercepted, but Alton Montgomery is there a little early, and he is called for interference, so the drive stays alive. Thank you very much. Now Kelly will hit Mr. Brooks again. 15 yards, 14-7. This is a play they had talked about in practice earlier in the week.
And he threw it right at me, and we did go over it in practice, and he told me in practice and in meetings that, Bill, I might have to throw it right at you. I might not be able to lead you, and just be alert. And it worked out perfect. Thank God that it did.
But the Falcons get on the board just before the half. They're moving into the wind. George to Burt Emanuel. This play covers 34 yards. Those might have gotten away with a little face mask there. And then Morton Anderson, unbelievable, 50 yards into the wind. It's good, and it's 14-10 Bills at the half, but the Falcons have some momentum. So in the second half, the Bills, though, they need to get a turnover. They were unable to do that in the first half, and they finally do it. As rookie cornerback Marlon Kerner, replacing Jeff Burris, forces the fumble on Emmanuel. Sam Rogers jumps on the loose ball, and the Bills are back in business. One guy that has to come through for the Bills to succeed, tight end Lonnie Johnson, and he does. Big time, 43-yard gain from Kelly right here. That's the longest gain of his NFL career. That sets up a Christie field goal to make it 17-10. But then the Falcons, with the win now, move quickly. George, 33 yards to Terrence Mathis, who beats Henry Jones. That sets up another touchdown for Ironhead Hayward. The final yard at 17-17. Marv Levy then gambles. Bills 4th and 7 at the 33. Kelly goes to Copeland and gets the first down. Marv says, you know, it's a lot easier doing this than watching it at home.
Today I had to make decisions between do we go for it on 4th down or not. At home I had to decide between potato chips and popcorn, you know. So it was more fun here.
Christie then with a 38-yard field goal. None of these are gimmies today, 20-17. Then the Bills defense coming up. David White with the sack on Jeff George. Now watch, he actually knocks the football loose. Hopefully no fine on this play. The ball is loose. The Bills do not recover. Now in the fourth quarter, Bills driving. Kelly's first interception in 171 passes. Anthony Phillips. This is painful to watch. I warn you, this is very graphic right here as Kelly makes the tackle. And there you see just a terrible, terrible injury to Anthony Phillips. Breaks the leg. And no question about it, that leg is broken, and he is carried off. And Kelly says, I don't like this either, folks.
It wasn't a happy occasion for me, to tell you that much. I was just glad that I was able to run fast enough to knock him out of bounds. And I always want to say I hope Anthony Phillips is doing it right. I never want to see an injury upon any player because we're out there to fight and do our job. But, you know, with prayers with him, hope he's feeling better.
All right, so the Bills now have to come up with a big play, and they do. Henry Jones blocks the Anderson field goal that would have tied it.
I was so wide open when I ran through the hole that I almost overran the kick, ran the ball. I had to reach back almost to block it.
One key to the second half, number 44, Derek Holmes, bobbing and weaving 7 yards here. That will set up another Christie field goal to make it 23-17. And the Falcons have a last chance. Of course, they need to get it into the end zone to have a chance to win, and it's scary. The Bills seem to be in this situation a lot. Oh, here's a big play guy, Metcalf, and now George is going to go for the end zone with a chance to win it right here. It's for the end zone, and right there is Kurt Scholes with the interception. The Bills preserve a 23-17 win.
We were in a cover 8 situation, and they ran 2 posts, and I kind of thought maybe they were trying to pull me out of there with the second post and hit the #1 wide receiver outside, and I just kind of stayed standing right there, and he threw a bad ball, threw it right to me.
So the Bills walk off the field a winner, and as you see, they are feeling in a pretty good mood. Now, this is kind of interesting. Quarterback stats here against the win. Kelly, 14 of 18 with a touchdown. Jeff George, 5 of 15, a very telling statistic. Now, the Bills suddenly are back in the driver's seat in the AFC East as both Miami and Indianapolis lose. The Dolphins hosting the New England Patriots. And
First quarter, Jeff George with a shovel pass to Craig Hayward. Kind of a little fancy play there. Falcons had a long opening drive, and it's capped off by the 1-yard touchdown run by Ironhead Hayward to make it 7-0 Falcons. But the Bills offense comes out strong. Thurman Thomas rips off a nice little 8-yard run, and then Derek Holmes, he breaks off a 17-yarder. He would go on to have a 100-yard rushing day on 23 carries. Then it's Jim Kelly finding Bill Brooks, 30-yard touchdown. Brooks actually coming back for the underthrown ball. Nicely done, and we are tied at 7-all. Second quarter, Bryce Pop. League fined him $12,000, you remember earlier this week? Well, Bryce says, I'm going to have 1 sack per 1,000. Number 12 of the year as he brings down Jeff George, and actually later got credit for another one on a George scramble. So he had 2 on the day. Bills take the lead here. Jim Kelly finding Bill Brooks again, this time 15-yard score. It's 14-7, Bills up. Morton Anderson had a 50-yarder at the end of the half to make it 14-10. Let's go to the second half action now. Pick it up in the third quarter. 14-10 Bills. Jim Kelly will hit Lonnie Johnson. Look at this one. And Lonnie breaking a couple of tackles there. He'll go 43 yards. And that sets up a Steve Christie 23-yard field goal to make it 17-10 Bills. Falcons come back. Jeff George marching him downfield finds Terrence Mathis 32 yards all the way down to the 1 as he doesn't quite get in. But no problem from there as Hayward finishes it off with the 1-yard touchdown run. And this game is tied at 17-all in the third. Bills driving the other way, and they're facing a 4th and 7. They decide to go for it, and they convert it. Jim Kelly finds Russell Copeland on the nice little out for the first down. That would lead to a Steve Christie field goal. 20-17, Bills go up. We're in the fourth quarter now. Falcons with a chance to tie it. Morton Anderson's field goal would tie it, but Henry Jones gets a piece of it. The 49-yarder is no good, and the Bills still lead for the moment. They drive downfield. They use up the clock, but they couldn't punch it in. But late in the game, Steve Christie's 21-yard field goal makes it 23-17. And now with 1 minute left, Falcon ball.
Looks downfield, throws, and it's intercepted in the end zone. It was picked off in the end zone by Scholes.
And Kurt Scholes with the game-saving INT. Bills win it 23-17. Of course, if they complete that pass, then the Falcons win the game. The good news is that Schultz picks it off. The bad news is when they had the chance offensively to punch it in and sew it up, they didn't do it.
They've got some real problems in that red zone, Bill. I think that has to be settled, and they're going to address those issues, obviously. Now that Marv's back, I think there are a lot of things they're going to address. Number one, we saw today they went almost strictly K-gun the entire game. They've established what they're going to do for the rest of the year. It's going to get better as they do it. The backs are comfortable. Jim Kelly's comfortable. The offensive line is going to get comfortable. From this point on, you can fix all those little idiosyncrasies that aren't working right now.
Well, not punching it in when you're down close to the goal line, is that an idiosyncrasy?
No, but that's better than a reverse.
All right. Hey, Paul Peck is standing by. He talked to all the players after the game. Let's go now to Paul.
It was a game for the ages, as both young and old helped the Bills beat the Falcons. And they did it with their old coach back on the sidelines.
Today I had to make decisions between do we go for it on 4th down or not. At home I had to decide between potato chips and popcorn, you know. So it was more fun here.
Jim Kelly and Bill Brooks may be older, but twice they were better than the Falcons.
All I know is Billy, time and time out, has been doing a good job. I think it was a blitz. I had a feeling Billy might have beat him. I just had to lay it out there. And of course, 2 times today, he came up with a great catch.
I just try to go out there and use the talents the guys give me, and right now is to try to run my routes the best way I can, and try to get open and give a throwing lane for Jim to throw at.
Young Lonnie Johnson came of age with 4 catches for 86 yards.
It's always good to have a good game because that boosts your confidence, boosts your self-esteem and everything. But when everybody's pressuring you to do things and hoping that you play like a seasoned vet, it makes it a little difficult, but I bounced back.
The offense finally got some good news today as Thurman Thomas came back and ran very well. And maybe Thurman's return was just what Derek Holmes needed because the rookie had his best game as a pro.
I'm excited if I'm coming off or if I'm starting. It just so happened that the scheme was a little bit better today, and the line was getting off, and I just had some big plays.
But the young guys in the Bills' secondary helped save the game. Rookie Marlon Kerner and first-year starter Kurt Schultz played like they'd been there for ages.
Well, I knew what they were doing because they were running a double post on it, and they were trying to pull me up on the second post and hit the number 1 post behind me, and I kind of stayed right in there, and he threw it to me. I don't know, I was surprised that he threw that ball.
I was a little nervous, I wasn't scared, little butterflies, little jitters first started, and after the game started, they settled down.
For Sports Sunday, I'm Paul Peck. Now back to you old guys.
Old guys. Well, what is this, old guys? Are you kidding me? He doesn't shave yet and we're old.
What's happened in the AFC? It warms the heart of every Bills fan.
Boy, it doesn't get any better than Miami loses and the Bills win, even when they aren't playing each other, right? This was a terrific win and a profitable day for Buffalo.
So it's a 1-game lead over the Dolphins, a 2.5-game lead over Indy, and the Bills are cruising.
Well, they are, and they got contribution from young players today that was just terrific. Derek Holmes has his first 100-yard rushing game. Lonnie Johnson, I thought, played a terrific game. And among the veterans, Bill Brooks, 2 touchdowns. They got to give that guy a bonus.
I don't know where he's finding that fountain of youth here in Orchard Park. Defensively, we were all worried about Covington and Irvin and Marlon Kerner. Those guys didn't have a great game, but they played well enough to win.
I thought they exonerated themselves, acquitted themselves very well in this game. Jeff George has come of age in this league. He hangs in there very well. I thought that they got some pressure on him, but he's a heck of a passer with great wide receivers, and you've got to give the defense credit, Paul. The worst field start that the Falcons had in the second half was their own 41-yard line. They shortened the field for every drive start.